In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the exact process that you can use to go from $0 to $10,000 per month profit with a social media marketing agency in 24 days. Yes, you heard that right, and it may seem like a little bit of a crazy timeline, but I tend to believe that if other people have done it, so can you. And because we all love proof and proof tastes good, here's one of my students who followed the process that I'm about to share with you and went from 0 to 21K per month from April 12th to May 2nd, so less than 24 days. So here's the roadmap to follow. My commitment to you is that this is going to be an incredibly juicy training, and by the end of it, you're going to be able to walk away with tangible advice, tangible strategies that you're going to be able to implement on your agency. Absolutely no fluff. There's a lot to cover on this video, so let's get right into it. Here's how we're going to structure this. The first phase is going to be the first 3 days. Then we're going to go into week 1, week 2, and week 3, and that will make up our 24 days. Here's the exact thing that you want to do for day 1 of the first 3 days. You're going to go ahead and set up the foundations. Now, we're not going to focus on the vanity metrics and having a pretty logo and having a great looking website. We're going to focus on exactly what's going to make us money and allow us to get to 10K per month in the fastest way possible. So the absolutely vital things that we need for that mission is a domain, an email, and a G Suite. Then you're going to go ahead and set up your Zoom account so you can actually take calls with qualified prospects and close them. And most importantly, we're going to set up your scheduling software. You can either use Acuity or Calendly for this. This is a vital software because we want to make sure that when we initiate these conversations with prospects, and I'm going to be sharing with you in just a few minutes how to actually do that. But when we initiate these conversations with prospects, they're able to book in a time with you so you can actually pitch them your service and close them on a call. Acuity or Calendly will be plugged in with your Zooms. So essentially, as soon as they book in a time on your calendar, they'll get your Zoom link. They'll be able to hop on Zoom and speak to you. Here, we're nailing down the 3 key pillars that most agency owners give absolutely no thought to. But what I've come to realize is that when you nail down these 3 core pillars before you even go to market, it makes it so much easier, because when you go to market, you can light it up on fire because you've actually given thought to something that people truly want. You're going to go ahead and you're going to pick a niche within the e-commerce space. I've talked extensively about why e-commerce is a better route than local business, but let's make it specific to the 24-day window. We want to make sure that we're not limited by geography. We want to make sure that we can reach out to anyone in the world. And we also want to make sure that we don't have to convince anyone of our service. E-com founders see social media marketing as an absolute necessity. They don't see it as a cool thing that they could do. They understand that if they don't have a predictable way of acquiring customers, they don't have a business. That's not so much the case with local businesses where they actually have other traffic sources available to them, like street traffic. And for them, it's not as much of a necessity. Your niche could be something like apparel and fashion, cosmetics, it could be vegan brands, it could be sustainable brands, the list goes on. You want to make sure you pick one. Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to pick your service. It's important that you pick a revenue-driven service. So ideally a paid ad service like YouTube ads, Facebook ads, Snapchat ads, TikTok ads, whatever you decide, or a direct marketing service like SMS marketing, email marketing, and the list goes on. And the final key pillar is an irresistible offer. Essentially, what you want to do here is you want to make sure that your offer is outcome driven, not service driven. And so a lot of agency owners, the reason why their offer just doesn't hit and they struggle to really land meetings with prospects is because they make their service their offer. Oh, I can do Facebook ads for you. Okay, cool. So can a million other people, right? What is your exact process to results? What is the outcome that I'm going to get? And it has to be personalized to your niche. For example, I was having a conversation with one of my students and their service was essentially taking that long form content and making reels and TikToks so that the podcaster could grow their audience even further. Now, what I told them is, sure, that's an in-demand service, but it is not outcome driven. It is service driven. There's going to be thousands of other people that can do that exact same service that you're doing for cheaper. And so how do you actually stand out? You want to make sure that podcast hosts see that you are the only agency that understands their business like no one else and that has a specific process to results for podcast hosts. For example, you could say we help podcast hosts double their Apple Podcast subscriptions in the next 30 days using our proven content distribution framework. TM, copyright, right? Or you could tell them we help podcast hosts double their revenue by helping them build out their email list without doing any extra work by using our proven content distribution framework. Something like that. I hope you get the point. What I'm not doing is I'm not going to podcast hosts and saying, hey, I can go ahead and clip your content, right? Because sure, if you do that, it's a valuable service, but you're going to be price competitive. You're going to be competing with the mass market who do clips for podcast hosts, YouTubers, TikTokers, and their mother, right? And so you want to make sure that you have an irresistible offer that is specific to your niche and that is outcome driven. The outcome is just crystal clear. And day 3, what we're going to do is we're going to optimize our social media. Because we're starting from 0, we're going to use social media, which is completely free, and we're going to focus on 3 main platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. For the sake of this training, I'm just going to focus on LinkedIn as our prime source of outreach. And what you want to make sure that you do on these platforms is you want to make sure that you have a very strong bio. Now, the bio should be your mission, But it's very important, and there's a little trick that a lot of people miss. It's very important that you use what I call the Trojan horse strategy. You want to make sure that you fit in with your prospects and it doesn't seem like you're going to sell them something. You want to make sure that you look like someone from their tribe, not someone that's trying to break into their tribe and sell them something and get something out of value. So going back to the example of the clips for the podcast host, instead of saying helping podcast hosts double their revenue using our proven content distribution framework, whatever it is, right? Something better would be distributing the most cutting edge podcast in the world. That's just a random example off the top of my head. You want to make sure that when they read it, they don't go, oh, this person is going to sell me this, right? They go, oh, this person is in my space. So those are the first 3 days, literally within 72 hours. We've gotten up and running very fast, which is the key to making money. Money loves speed. And so now let's get right into week one. Week one is all about authority building. I'm going to continue to use LinkedIn as an example for the sake of this training. First half of this week is going to be spent using people within your space to build out your network. So what you're going to do is, instead of connecting with qualified prospects already, because you don't really have any social proof, what you want to do is you want to connect with people within your space, budding agency owners, consultants, service providers, because they're also trying to sell stuff. They're always down to build out their authority and they're always down to build out their social proof. So you want to make sure that you identify the metrics for social proof and authority within each platform. For example, within LinkedIn, it's the number of connections that you have and the number of endorsements. So you want to make sure that you get up to 500 plus connections, and you want to make sure that you get between 20 to 50 endorsements on at least your top 3 skills. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll leave it up on screen. Once you've done that, you can now connect with people within your niche. So let's just say that you've gone ahead and picked out apparel and fashion brands. You can literally use that as filter within LinkedIn. You can have your mission, which we spoke about using the Trojan horse strategy. And you can also add a note when you connect with these people. Again, at this point, you're not selling them anything. You can say something like, hey, Chris, love what you're doing at mrapparel.com. Love the fact that you guys not only have incredible designs, but that you stand for outstanding quality. Always great to connect with other like-minded people in the space. So you're showing that you know your stuff when it comes to their brand, which takes literally 3 seconds. Look on their website, look on their LinkedIn page, and you're telling Chris that we are similar and we're also in the same space. So you're building familiarity, which leads to better connections. That is that for week one. You've connected with people in your space to build out your social proof, and now you've started connecting with prospects that you're going to sell to. Week two is all about content nurturing. No, we're not going to try to be Gary Vee. You don't even have to be on video. It's mostly written content, and these are the 3 types of content that you want to make sure that you post pretty much on a daily basis. It will take you 5-10 minutes. But it will make your life so much easier. This is the difference between using force and using power. Using force is forcing your authority and forcing your social proof down people's throat. Using power is building out your social proof, creating what I call a profile funnel, which is what we're doing here, creating a good social media presence. You don't have to have a lot of followers. We don't have to have any likes for that matter. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But people see that you are an authority in your space. People see that you know your stuff. And not only that, but you don't have to message hundreds of prospects. Literally hundreds of prospects to see one single post of yours and still do the exact same thing and have the exact same impact as someone trying to cold call people for 6 to 8 hours a day. So literally you put in 15 minutes into one of these posts. Hundreds of qualified prospects within your network are seeing this content being nurtured, while most people are reaching out to one prospect here, one prospect there, one prospect there for 6 to 8 hours a day. This is a great example of what I call an asymmetric return activity. We put little input and we create a lot of output. So the 4 types of content. Number 1 is you want to take the best performing content from influencers within your broad space, within digital marketing, within e-commerce growth. You want to take that post and then apply it to your specific niche. So for example, let's just say Neil Patel writes an article on the 3 proven retargeting strategies for e-com businesses in 2022. What you could go ahead and do is not copy and paste, right? Add your own spin to it, but take that article, but take that winning title, take a lot of the content and maybe the structure that he uses for the article and apply it to your specific niche. So you could say 3 proven retargeting strategies for apparel and fashion brands in 2022. You get the point, and you can get unlimited content if you just do this, right? You could literally never run out of ideas because there are literally thousands and thousands of proven articles from other influencers within a broader space that we can take and apply to a smaller space like ours. The second type of content is commentary within your niche. The reason why this is so incredibly powerful is because at the end of the day, your prospects, they care more about and know more about their space than whatever service you offer. And so what you want to do here is, instead of talking about digital marketing, because you've already done that with the first type of post, you've already established that you're an authority within that area of expertise, you want to make sure that you comment on things that are happening within your niche, within, for example, the apparel and fashion space, right? Let's just say that an important magazine like Hypebeast posts an article on the next 5 trends in September, right, to watch out for. you can comment on some of these trends and you can comment on why these trends are incredibly vital for pop culture. Something like that, you get the point. You comment on what's happening in the space so that they can see that you're not just a fly-by-night opportunist, you genuinely care about their space and you know about their space. The third type of post is personal applied to professional. What I mean by this is you want to make sure that you show that you're a real human being. The line between personal and professional has never been so blurred nowadays. People post about their professional accomplishments on social media, and really we just live in a world where people love to see the people behind the business, right? And so you want to make sure that you show the real you. If you go to Madrid fashion show that is happening right now, right? You can go ahead and take a picture there and tie to the fact that you are helping apparel brands. Or if you're just, you take a selfie on your desk and you tie back to what you do on a professional basis and you talk about the fact that you absolutely love waking up and doing what you're passionate about every single day. My point here is you show your personal side. It doesn't have to be super curated. Keep it raw, keep it authentic, and tied to the professional side of things. And the final thing you want to do is hand-raising content. Once you've been posting all this content, you want to make sure that you give your audience an opportunity to raise their hand and show that they're interested in what you've got to say. You can talk about a free training that you've done on X, Y, or Z. You can talk about a resource that you've got for apparel brands to do this and this and that, right? You could talk about a tool, you could talk about a growth call where you're gonna go through this and this and that. My point here is you wanna get people to comment or DM you to obtain value from you. Here's a great example of me doing this, and this works amazing well, especially when you have a track record like me of actually delivering great value. Those are the 4 types of content. The final thing I'll say is you don't need likes. You don't need a lot of likes. Do not get obsessed over the likes, because look, what I can tell you is I speak to a lot of people that have millions of followers. They get hundreds of thousands of likes on their pics and they struggle to monetize. And the simple reason being that their prospects have either nothing to buy or they're just not qualified. We're not in the business of getting likes. We're in the business of growing our business, impacting people and making money. And so what we're doing here is we're having the right people that we've connected with within our space see our content. And that is far more powerful, because I'd rather 5 people who are CEOs of big brands within my niche to see my content than hundreds of thousands of people that are never going to buy something from me. Hopefully you get the point. We're not here to grow our ego. We're here to grow our bank account. And so do not worry about the likes. The likes will eventually come with time. Week 3. Appointment setting. Appointment setting, if you don't know, is the process of engaging with people via DMs, via conversation on social media, and booking in a time so you can actually speak to them over Zoom and you can sell them your service. Most agency owners get this completely wrong. Now, the first thing you need to understand is that there's 3 people right now in your pipeline if you've done everything that I've mentioned in this video. First, you've got the people who you've added in week 1 and that you will continue to add every single week and every single day. They haven't responded to your connection note or they haven't engaged with your content. Then you've got the people who have engaged with your connection note via DMs, but they haven't engaged with your content. And then finally, you've got the people who have engaged with your content. Maybe they like the commentary that you did on some apparel and fashion trend, or maybe they commented when you offer the free training for people that comment on that post. You want to make sure that you open the conversation based on the interaction that they've had with you. And once you do that, all you're doing in these conversations is 3 things. We're going to keep it very simple. No need for boring canned scripts that get absolutely no replies. We're going to do these 3 things. Number 1 is you're going to find out exactly where they're at in their business. Chris, I absolutely love what you guys are doing on TikTok. I'm guessing it seems like your brand has exploded as a byproduct of that. How are you guys handling that? And Chris is going to tell you a little bit about where they're currently at, how they're handling their current demand, maybe where they're at in terms of revenue, etc., etc. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to find out where they're trying to get to. That's incredible to hear, Chris. Honestly, kudos to your team. Are you planning on maintaining this level of growth? Like, do you have any big goals before 2023? And then Chris is going to tell you a little bit about the goals that they have for the upcoming months. And then finally, what you want to do is you want to propose a no obligation call that is just pure value, no strings attached. That's honestly incredible, Chris. Funnily enough, I'm actually helping some very exciting apparel and fashion brands scale to 7 figures using our proven content distribution framework. And I'd love to see if me and the team can help bring you a little bit more clarity on how to use this content. Let's just say that he said he's looking to get to 50K per month and really take it to 50K per month. And then from there, if he gives you a bunch of different times, you can say, would you like me to send you over my calendar? Might be easier that way on your Acuity or your Calendly. Hopefully you see the 3-step framework that we follow. We just find out where they're currently at, where they're trying to get to, and then propose an obligation call based on the goals that they're trying to get and where they're currently at. Obviously, there will be people that won't answer. There will be people that it won't go as smooth, but this framework works incredibly well. I actively use this to this day on top of other sales funnels to book in 20 to 30 plus meetings every single day for my businesses. So if I can book 20 to 30 plus meetings, you can probably book 1 or 2 a day, which is way more than the average within the agency space. But before we wrap this up, some big no's you want to stay away from. On private conversations, on DMs, do not talk about the idea of working together. Do not even hint at it. Do not talk about marriage before going on the first date. Very important. And number two, notice that I do not talk about my service. I purely focus on them because people love to talk about them, right? And I focus on their problems and their aspirations. Keep those two things in mind. And with that being said, that is that for this video. Now, if you've enjoyed this, make sure that you smash the like button. Helps out with the algorithm and the whole channel. And if you want to see more free trainings on how to actually acquire clients, on what to actually say on these calls, and much more, I'm going live pretty much on a daily basis on my free Facebook mastermind. I'm going to be capping it at 10,000 members. We're very close to it. So if you want to go ahead and apply, there's going to be a link in the description. You can go ahead, fill out a bunch of questions. If you're a good fit, we'll let you in. And with that being said, I will see you on the next one. Peace.